Disclaimer: I doesn't claim any of the arts. All the picture shown belongs to the respective artist and company. If you are original owner and want me to remove the video, I will do it immediately. Just send me an email to inform me. And if you like my content, please subscribe to the channel. The chapter begins and we see that Kim was close to losing the Orgel fight. He uses his power to summon Reria, and with Reseria's presence on the scene, Kim thinks to himself, "Reria, I really wanted to end this without summoning you." An archduke summoned through a contractor's power could never stand up to a true archduke body, and the risk is massive. Mana might surge out of control like last time, or the clash between archdukes could swallow everything. Even if I manage to survive, there's no guarantee Ricky would too. But now, this isn't the time to be picky about that. Seeing that Reria has been summoned, Orgel laughs with his red glowing eyes and says, "Reria, I didn't realize you were already so close to the key. When did you make a summoning pact with that guy? No, wait. No wonder I sense such strong incubus energy. So it wasn't Ismund's contractor, but yours, huh?" Hearing Orgel's words, Reria gets annoyed. She activates her aura, covering her body with a pink glow, and says, "Bet you regret realizing that too late. That woman's no easy target like a vampire." Hearing Reseria's words, Orgel opens his hand and replies with a smile, "Not an easy opponent. That's exactly what I was hoping for." With that, Reria turns to Kim and says, "Contractor, it seems you need healing. Can you manage it on your own?" Hearing Reseria's words, Kim grits his teeth and says, "If I use blood frenzy, I can manage to regenerate." Kim couldn't finish his sentence before he was suddenly transported to a new space that looked like the inside of a luxurious palace. Kim was surprised but then heard Reseria's voice telling him, "Good to hear. Contractor, you've experienced this before. My authority, personal space. A space separate from reality. My own domain. I bluffed in front of the enemy, but what I can do now is summon you here to buy some time. And even that won't last long. Focus on recovering first. We'll deal with Orgel after that." Hearing Reseria's words, Kim held up his severed hand and made a request. Then. Could you bring in just one more person?" Suddenly, out of nowhere, Ricky appeared and fell into the space. Even she didn't know what was going on. As she fell to the ground, she thought to herself, what? The space just shifted." Hearing Kim's words, Ricky was surprised. Kim said to her, "Ricky, would you please step aside?" Ricky turned around and saw herself lying on top of Kim. She asked him with a surprised and complaining expression, Kim Taehyun, you vanished in an instant last time. Why are you here now?" Ricky got up from Kim and apologized. Kim then explained while sitting on the floor, "This is a temporary refuge created by the Archduke I'm contracted with." Hearing Kim's words, Ricky was confused and didn't understand what was going on. Kim continued, "Ricky, here we must find a way to break out of this situation." The scene then changes to the real world, where in the abyss Reria faces Orgel. Orgel looks down at Reria and exhales. With menacing eyes, he says, "The key's mana has disappeared. Even the one behind you, that one's gone too. Did you conjure this with your own authority?" Hearing Orgel's words, Reria smiles, crosses her arms, and says, "Who knows what exactly happened? Even if I told you, I doubt that beastly brain could understand it." Hearing Reseria's words, Orgel gets mad. He leans forward and says, letting out a heavy breath, "Hand it back over. That belongs to me." Then, in a sudden movement, he attacks Reria with his fist, trying to crush her. But Reria stands motionless and attacks Orgel with her tentacles. The scene changes to Reseria's mind realm, where Kim and Ricky are healing and trying to find a way to defeat or escape from Orgel. Ricky says to Kim, "So basically, while the two archdukes are fighting, we need to find a way to escape Orgel, right?" Hearing Ricky's words, Kim confirms it. Then Ricky asks, "I get the gist of it, but the part I don't get yet is, You said you're the succubus queen's contractor. Then how can you use the powers of other archdukes? The skills you just used and that skill rampage before. It's all way too abnormal. Are you even really human? As Ricky asks Kim these questions, Kim uses blood frenzy to regenerate a new arm. Understanding Ricky's doubts, he decides to explain a little about his skills to gain her trust. When we first met, Ricky, you said something. That people like us, monsters in a sense, need something to bind us together. My answer is still the same as it was then. I'm a bit old-fashioned, you see. So much so that I can't break a promise to a friend. Hearing Kim's words, Ricky thinks for a moment and says, "That's true. That's what I said back then." Seeing Ricky's reaction, Kim tries to stand up and says, "I'm human. It's just that the skill I have can absorb other skills." Hearing this revelation, Ricky is surprised and says, "So that's how you could use all those skills?" If that's the case. It does make sense. But seriously, that's completely busted. As Ricky tries to put the pieces together, Kim stands up and finishes regenerating his new arm. In that moment, he thinks to himself, Ricky is someone I can trust. Revealing this much to explain myself isn't a big deal. She'll keep my secret moving forward too. Though, I could never tell her about the regression, not even if I died. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the mental world that Reria had created begins to shake and crumble. Both Kim and Ricky are shocked at how quickly Orgel has overpowered Reria so quickly. Therefore, Kim says with eyes wide open in shock, "Now that we've cleared that up, shall we think about a solution? Even now out there, Reria is struggling to buy us time." He continues, "I used every skill I had, but I couldn't stop Orgel." Orgel pushes Reria back, and as he pinches her, she manages to stop him by wrapping her tentacles around his limbs. She barely manages to block his powerful fist. Reria jumps into the air to attack, but her tentacles are not strong enough to hold Orgel, and he tears them apart. The scene shifts to Resaria's mental world, where Kim continues speaking. "Ricky, don't you have any tricks up your sleeve?" Ricky thinks for a moment and says, "Among the skills I have, there's one that comes to mind." Seeing Ricky deep in thought, Kim wonders if she has found a solution. Ricky hesitates and says, "A portal, a skill that opens a gate to specific coordinates and lets you pass through." Hearing this, Kim replies, "Then let's use that to get out of here." But Ricky responds with concern, "No, it's too dangerous. I've only ever used it to summon monsters from the other side. I've never actually crossed through it myself. A gate made purely with human mana, not a warp gate, is unstable. It could shut down mid-transfer, and in the worst case, you might wander between dimensions forever. Maybe we really should find another way." But Kim knows they have no other choice. As Resaria's mental world starts to shatter, Kim says firmly, "But Ricky, you know too, there's no other way but this." Reaches out to Ricky and continues, "It's time to make a decision, Ricky Harris. I trust you." Seeing Kim's complete confidence in her abilities, Ricky is surprised, her confidence grows, and by taking Kim's hand, she agrees to try her luck to escape from Orgel. With the destruction of Resaria's mental world, they are transported back to the real world. Upon returning to Orgel, they find that he has won the battle, holding Resaria's lifeless, severed head in his hand. The severed head of Resaria's avatar, in its last breaths, forces its eyes open and says upon seeing Kim, "That is as far as you go." Orgel, noticing Kim's return, crushes Resaria's head with a menacing smile as blood splatters everywhere. He taunts, "You've returned, Ki. Did you think you could keep hiding behind Resaria's skirt?" As Resaria's lifeless body falls to the ground, he continues, "Shame on you. That's not how a king behaves. A king ruthlessly wipes out all who oppose him. If you inherited the king's power, you should fight accordingly." Suddenly, Kim attacks Orgel with a small predation monster, not letting him finish speaking. Orgel interrupts by simply putting his hand forward and says, "This. You already know it won't work on me. Is this your final outburst? Kim looks at Orgel seriously, and as his eyes glow red, he says, I just got tired of listening to your nonsense. Then Kim shouts to Ricky with a loud voice, Now, open the portal quickly. Surprised by Kim's loud voice, Ricky quickly gathers herself and begins to open the portal. As her power activates, blue energy covers the area, and a large blue portal appears. Kim pushes Orgel back with his predation monster, but Orgel grabs the creature with his hand and says, resorting to cheap tricks again, Are you? I won't let you escape. Kim puts his hand forward and concentrates the power of predation into the palm of his hand, saying, Don't rush, just wait. As the predation monster is infused with more energy, Orgel looks surprised, wondering what Kim will do next. Kim finishes his last attack, making a fist and says, Someday, I'll come for you again. He then sends a large ball filled with predation energy toward Orgel to distract him. As Kim turns, Ricky says with worry, was this really the right choice? What if something goes wrong? Hearing Ricky's concern, Kim replies confidently, If you can't trust the world's greatest magician, who else can you trust? Let's go first and wait. We'll see what's there on the other side. Kim and Ricky both enter the blue gate, and moments later, Kim finds himself lying on the ground, surprised and shocked in the middle of an unknown jungle. As Kim tries to get back up and process what just happened, Ricky says with a surprised and happy voice, We did it. We really did it, Taehyun. I never imagined this would actually work. We're probably the first people to cross a human-made gate. Seeing her happiness, Kim smiles and says, See, I told you it would work. Ricky blushes, pushing her hair aside and says, I'm so glad. Because you were here, But to their surprise, the gate remains open, and in a moment, a huge, monstrous hand appears and tries to grab Ricky by the neck. Kim is shocked by the scene and doesn't know what to do. With that, this chapter ends. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Support this channel by liking this video and subscribing the channel. And if you want me to recap another manhwa or manga, write its name on comment section. And if want to know what happened in previous chapter, you can watch them in this YouTube channel.